Hello friends, today we are going to learn first law of thermodynamics and its application for the subject basics of heat transfer and refrigeration and air conditioning. My name is Professor S.V. Kumbar. I am from Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Hyderabad. So first law of thermodynamics. We have already learned this law since from ninth standard. The first law of thermodynamics is associated with law of conservation of energy, and it states that energy cannot be created nor it can be destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form into another form. Let us take one example: electricity. How electricity is produced, we have already learned in first and second year. In order to produce electricity, we require either heat energy or hydraulic energy. So here, if we consider a dam, water is stored during rainy season. It contains potential energy as it is stored at higher level. This potential energy is converted into kinetic energy in the penstock, and at the end of penstock nozzle is fitted. Kinetic energy or potential energy is further converted into kinetic energy. A jet of water is produced, and that jet of water is allowed to strike on the turbine blades, and in this way kinetic energy is converted into mechanical energy at the turbine shaft. This mechanical energy is converted into electricity at the generator. This is the flow of energy. If you consider an electric fan, so in an electric fan, electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy as it rotates, and mechanical energy is converted into kinetic energy. So here only transformation of energy takes place from one form into another form. So the energy balance is maintained within the system being studied. So various energies associated are then being observed as they cross boundary of the system. So in this figure, two states are shown. In first state, when gas is compressed with the help of piston and cylinder arrangement, here less weight is kept on the piston, but on the state 2 more weight is kept. So total internal energy, that is internal energy E2 minus E1, is equal to Q minus W. That is nothing but first law of thermodynamics to closed system. Q minus W is equal to change in internal energy. We will see once again energy balance for closed system. So here, if it is a closed system like piston and cylinder arrangement, whatever amount of heat which is supplied to that closed system, some amount of heat is used to utilized for conversion of work, and remaining heat energy is used to raise its internal energy. So if you consider a reference plane, total energy entering the system minus total energy leaving the system is equal to the change in total energy of the system, that is E in minus E out is equal to delta E of the system. So according to classical thermodynamics, total amount of heat which is supplied to the closed system minus net work obtained from the system is equal to change in internal energy of the system. Now this change in total energy of the system, internal energy of the system, is the sum of internal energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. That is total energy of the system E is equal to internal energy U plus kinetic energy Ke plus potential energy Pe. If we want to calculate the change in stored energy for the system, delta E is equal to delta U plus delta Ke plus delta Pe. And if you apply the first law of thermodynamics for closed system, then it can be written as net heat supplied minus net work done or net work obtained from the system, which is equal to delta U plus delta Ke plus delta Pe. This is energy balance equation. This is also known as steady flow energy equation, which will be applied for open system, we will see this equation which will be rearranged in other form for open system. If the system does not move with the velocity and has no change in elevation, the conservation of energy equation is reduced to net amount of heat Q net minus net amount of work obtained from the system, which is equal to delta U, that is change in internal energy only. So few examples of closed systems are mentioned here. First one, rigid tank. Second one is piston and cylinder arrangement. In the first example, a liquid is continuously heated. What will happen? Liquid will be converted into vapor form, and that vapor can be used for different purpose. For example, boiler. If you consider an example of boiler, water is heated continuously with the help of flue gases which are produced by burning a coal. So this flue gas will exchange heat from liquid, and liquid is heated. As liquid is heated, it is converted into vapor. This water is converted into vapor, steam, and that steam is used for many purposes. Second example is piston cylinder arrangement. If you supply heat energy to a compressed gas, what will happen? The gas will expand and piston will move from one end to another end. Here work is obtained from the piston. The best example is internal combustion engine. We will take one example. A closed system of mass 2 kg undergoes an adiabatic process. The work done on the system is 30 kilojoule. The velocity of the system changes from 3 meter per second to 15 meter per second. During the process, the elevation of the system increases from 45 meters. Determine the change in internal energy of the system. So here what is given? A closed system of mass 2 kg. Mass is given. It is an adiabatic process. So net amount of heat transfer will be 0. The work done on the system is 30 kilojoule. Work done is given. Velocity of the system changes from 3 meter per second to 15 meter per second. V1 and V2 values are given, and during this process the elevation of the system increases from 45 meter. Z2 minus Z1 it is given, and we have to determine change in internal energy. So previously we have seen energy balance equation. So Q net minus W net is equal to M into bracket delta U plus delta KE plus delta PE. So again rewriting this equation, Q net minus W net is equal to M into U2 minus U1 plus V2 square minus U1 square upon 2000 plus G into Z2 minus Z1 upon 1000. Here Z2 minus Z1 is given directly 45. V1 is given as 3 meter per second, V2 is given as 15 meter per second, and the work done on the system is 30 kilojoule. So substitute all the data, we will get delta U as 14.45 kilojoule, that is the required answer. A closed system to first law of cycle. So thermodynamic cycle composes of processes in which the working fluid undergoes a series of changes of state such that final and initial states are identical, that we call it as thermodynamic cycle. If a thermodynamic cycle is completed, then the net internal energy is equal to 0. So if the net internal energy equal to 0, so first law of thermodynamics for closed system can be written as Q net is equal to W net, as delta U is 0. So few processes are shown here on PV diagram. So according to law of PV raised to n is equal to constant, that is polytropic process. So if the index n is equal to infinity, it is an isochoric process, as volume is constant, V1 is equal to V2, and we can write characteristic gas equation as P1 upon T1 is equal to P2 upon T2. If index n is equal to 0, then the process will be isobaric, as it is a constant pressure process. P1 is equal to P2, and characteristic gas equation can be modified as V1 upon T1 is equal to V2 upon T2. If index n index is equal to 1, So PV is equal to 1, which is equal to constant, which is known as isothermal process, where temperature remains constant. So we can write P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. And if N is equal to gamma, then it is known as isentropic process. Here entropy remains constant, and we can write characteristic gas equation as well as adiabatic gas equation as P1 upon P2 is equal to V2 upon V1 raised to N, or gamma, which is equal to T1 upon T2 raised to N upon N minus 1, that is gamma upon gamma minus 1. Just replace the value of N by gamma for adiabatic process. So various forms of work which are expressed as follows. First process, isochoric process, where volume remains constant. So work done is equal to P into bracket V2 minus V1, as volume remains constant, V1 is equal to V2, therefore work obtained from isochoric process is 0. For isobaric process, pressure remains constant, so work done is given as P into V2 minus V1. For isothermal process, W is equal to P1 V1 ln V2 upon V1. You can replace this P1 V1 by MRT1 also. And for polytropic process or isentropic process, if it is a polytropic process, work done is equal to P2 V2 minus P1 V1 upon 1 minus N. If it is an isentropic process, W is equal to P2 V2 minus P1 V1 upon 1 minus gamma. Just replace N by gamma. So first law of thermodynamics, mass and energy analysis of control volume. So first we will see conservation of mass. Conservation of mass is one of the most fundamental principles in nature. As we are familiar with this principle, it is not difficult to understand. We will take one example. If 10 kg of steam is entering from left side of nozzle, so 10 kg of steam will leave from right hand side of nozzle. What does it mean? Mass of the system remains constant. For closed system, the conservation of mass principle is implicitly used since the mass of system remain constant during a process. But however, for control volume, mass can cross boundaries. So the amount of mass entering and leaving the control volume must be considered. Mass and volume flow rate. In fluid mechanics, you have learnt volume flow rate, that is discharge. Similarly, mass flow through a cross-sectional per unit time is called as mass flow rate. Note that over the mass symbol indicates a time rate change. It is expressed as m is equal to integration of rho v into dA. If the fluid density and velocity are constant over the flow cross-sectional area, the mass flow rate is given as m is equal to rho into A into V, where rho is the density, A is the cross-sectional area through which it is flowing, and V is the velocity. It can be rewritten as AV upon nu, where nu is specific volume. Principle of conservation of mass. So it is very similar to law of conservation of energy. Okay, so mass cannot be created nor it can be destroyed, but the total mass of the system remains constant. If we consider any system, as we have discussed, if 10 kg of steam enters inside the nozzle, 10 kg of steam will leave through the nozzle. It means that mass cannot be created nor it can be destroyed, but the total mass of the system remains constant. And the conservation of mass principle of a control volume can be expressed as m in, that is total mass entering inside the control volume, minus m out, that is total mass of any fluid leaving out of the control volume, which is equal to MEV, that is total mass of the control volume. So for a steady state, steady flow process, the conservation of mass principle becomes m in is equal to m out, that is total mass entering the system is equal to total mass leaving the system in kg per second. Flow work and the energy of flowing fluid. So one example is shown. A gas is compressed with the help of first piston, which is imaginary piston at left hand side, that is top side. If you apply force, what will happen? that gas will enter the control volume. Gas will be having volume V, pressure P and mass m. If you apply force on top side piston of area A, the gas will enter control volume and it will leave control volume, obtaining work from right hand side piston. So the amount of flow work, that is small delta W flow work, is given as force into displacement, F into dl. So F into dl is equal to A into A, so which is equal to P into dV. So the flow work is given as P into V. As the fluid upstream pushes mass across the control volume, work done on unit mass is calculated by this equation. Total energy of a flowing fluid. The total energy carried by a unit mass as it crosses the control volume is the sum of internal energy, flow work and potential energy and kinetic energy, as we have already discussed in energy balance equation. So summation of energy is equal to U plus PV plus V square upon 2 plus Gz. U plus PV is nothing but enthalpy. So H plus V square upon 2 plus Gz. The first law for control volume can be written as Q net minus W net is equal to summation of M out, H out plus V out square upon 2 plus Gz out minus summation of mass of fluid entering into bracket enthalpy of fluid entering plus velocity of fluid entering square upon 2 plus G into Z in. So this equation can be written in many forms for steady flow process and different forms. So steady flow in engineering devices. First one, nozzle, which is used to convert pressure energy into kinetic energy. Second, turbine, it may be steam turbine or hydraulic turbine. We will see one by one. Mixing chamber, where two fluids, hot fluid and cold fluids, are mixed in the mixing chamber and the resulting fluid can be used for different purposes. Diffuser, which plays exactly opposite role to that of nozzle. Throttling valve, compressor, heat exchanger. We will see these elements one by one. So first, nozzle. Nozzle is a device that increases the velocity of fluid at the expense of pressure. We are very familiar with this nozzle at home also. These nozzles can be used to increase velocity. Pressure energy is converted into velocity. The main application of nozzle is used at the end of pipe of steam turbine, where pressure energy of steam can be used to increase its velocity. So first example shows nozzle, where V1 is the velocity which is entering the control volume and V2 is the velocity which is leaving the control volume. Here, as the cross sectional area decreases, so velocity of steam leaving the nozzle must be greater than entering the steam. Diffuser. Diffuser is a device that increases pressure of a fluid by slowing it down. Here, second figure, diffuser, velocity V1 is greater than velocity V2, and here velocity is converted into pressure. The best example of diffuser is gas turbine, commonly utilized in jet engines, rockets, spacecraft and even garden houses. Here Q is equal to 0, that is heat transfer from the fluid to surrounding is very small, that's why Q is equal to 0, and delta P is also 0. Second one, turbine and compressor. So turbine is a device which produces a work through the expansion of fluid. For example, steam turbine, steam expands inside the blades of steam turbine and here work is obtained from the turbine. So in the first figure, control volume of turbine is shown with the help of red color. So whichever amount of steam enters the control volume of steam turbine, that is M1. Here it expands inside the blades of steam turbine and work is obtained, and M2 out, that is the amount of steam after expansion leaves the turbine, again it condenses, and that condensate is sent to boiler, again steam is produced and cycle continues. Second best example is compressor. Here we have considered pump as well as fan. So compressor is a device used to increase pressure of a fluid and involves work output. Here work has to be supplied for compressor, fan or pump, so that Q is equal to 0. It's an assumption, one of the assumption. Delta P and delta K is also 0. Throttling valve. Throttling valve is a flow restricting devices that cause a significant pressure drop inside the fluid. So figure A shows that it's an adjustable valve. This adjustable valve, by rotating that valve, we can maintain the pressure drop. Some familiar examples are ordinary adjustable valve and capillary tube. Mixing chamber. In the mixing chamber, two different fluids, that is hot fluid and cold fluids, are mixed together at a particular junction, and the resulting fluid is used for different purposes. One best example is shown as for shower. Here hot water enters from left hand side of the pipe and cold water enters through right hand side of the pipe. These two, hot fluid and cold fluid, is mixed at T elbow, and that resulting fluid is, that is resulting water, is used for bathing purpose. Here mixing of two fluid which are having different properties are mixed, and the resulting fluid is used for different purposes. Next example is heat exchanger. So heat exchanger is a device in which two different moving fluids stream exchange heat without mixing. So the diagram shows fluid A enters through a middle pipe and fluid B enters through outer pipe, which we'll call it as annulus region. So here exchange of heat from fluid A and fluid B takes place at the boundary, that is at the thickness of pipe fluid A. So heat exchanger typically involve no work interaction and negligible kinetic and potential energy, but there is a heat transfer takes place from one fluid to another fluid. We will see this heat exchanger in detail in the next lecture. Thank you very much.